What's going on, everybody? Going to be a quick trade recap of the day as we are hitting all-time highs on ES. Actually not seeing that much buy pressure on NASDAQ compared to ES, but we'll cover that here in a little bit. So starting off with our trade plan for the day, how did it play out? So we had the 312 as our trigger to the upside on ES, looking for 332 and 342. We did hit our 32 target. We topped out just a little bit early and did not hit the 42 target. The other one was holding below 287. That obviously did not happen. The overnight used that 287 level to the exact tick as a support and then bounced off of it. So we opened up kind of a little bit in the middle of our two levels, and then we broke above that upper level. Looking at our trade plan for NASDAQ, we actually stayed between our trade plan levels today, which always gives you that rotation. So we were looking for a rotation between 0.50 and 9.31, and we did finish that rotation to the downside almost immediately at 10 o'clock, and then it took a much longer way up, going from 10 o'clock up to 2 p.m. to finish that upper rotation. So from 9.31 to 0.47, 0.50 on our trade plan, that was the upper rotation. And damn near the high of day. The high of day, yeah, it actually was 0.50, literally to the exact tick. So high of day there, actually not high of day, sorry. High of the afternoon. High of day was technically in the morning. But high of that rotation was that 0.50 level, pretty much to the exact tick. So if we did hold above that, we were looking for 23,112 and 160, which we'll keep an eye on those for tomorrow. Okay, with that out of the way, let's take a look at some trades that you could have taken today. We had a couple of examples here. So starting off right at the open, actually pretty much the opening candle. Let's go back to it on the order flow chart here. We had a pretty strong sweep on the open. So we had that 30-minute high from the pre-market at 9 o'clock get taken out with that 9:30 candle. So that was right at the open. We pushed those local highs over here, pretty much all of these candles right here. We pushed the highs and then swept that 30-minute high to the downside. So that gave you a pretty strong sell back into VWAP. Obviously, your stop could have been above that local high, targeting VWAP, bounced off VWAP to the exact tick, and then kind of chopped all the way down to your low around 10 o'clock. And that was actually another trade. So at 10 o'clock to 10:05, this is probably what I would call the best trade of the day. And let me show you why. So this is one that we talked about on stream. This was a bullish divergence, a very strong divergence on the Momo. So we had that higher low on momentum, and we had the lower low on price. And then we comboed that with a blue pivot. The blue pivot does a good job predicting support levels or kind of reversal points for the buyers. And that was around 297. So that pivot kind of confirmed the bottom of that low there. And then you bounced above both the orange pivot and the blue pivot. It even gave you a nice little retest there. So if you missed that bull div, it gave you a pullback into the pivots as a final get in the trade, right? And then above that, you just ripped pretty much the entire day going into 2 o'clock, which we'll talk about here in a second, actually. That was another trade that we had marked out. Actually, before that, around 11 o'clock, there was a trade that you could have taken as another sweep. Let me pull that up here. That was, where was that? What time was that? That was 11:08. Okay, so you can't see it at the time. At the time it was sweeping, but on this candle, it closed very strong. So you tried to sweep the high there. You can see it pulled back. The prior high was 317. Let me zoom in so you can see that. The prior high was 317. So we started to sweep that high as we pulled back here. And there were single prints going down to 312, which we actually closed the day with those single prints still open. And that was a very good target for that sweep. Unfortunately, as we can see, that 30-minute candle closed very strong. So you did not fill in those single prints. And that was the start of the vertical distribution, because a vertical distribution is when you have pretty good short signals, but it's ignoring them. and you're just continuing to trend up. And it did that until about like 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock, I believe it was. Yeah, about 12 o'clock, you had a little bit of a pullback, and that pullback just continued even higher all the way up to 2 o'clock. And that was our other trade that we marked out. So anything between like 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock, we didn't really mark anything out there because there weren't really any extremely high strike rate patterns. It was mostly just a continuation of that trend. You were watching 30-minute lows, 5-minute lows. You were watching the nodes building up. So you kept building up nodes on the 30-minute, protecting those nodes. So there was nothing crazy happening as far as like a pattern. It was just a continuation move. And then around 2 to 2:30, we had a pretty strong bear div. So we had a pretty clear bear div on the high here. You can see that higher high in price, lower high in momentum. I believe it was a bear div on Delta as well. Let me see here. Actually, no, it was not a bear div on Delta. So just on momentum. And also a little bit of confluence with that level. That was our 32 target. So we already had a high there, kind of the all-time high. I believe it was the high of Thursday of last week. And that was giving you a pretty good resistance level that you could have shorted. It also turned into a sweep. So you had a little bit of a sweep there on that high. You tried to break out. You put in a lot of bullish delta on the breakout. It got absorbed, and it turned into a sweep. So same exact way you would have traded the other sweeps, like the one on the open, stop loss above the high, targeting prior levels, possibly VWAP, possibly other value levels. In this case, VWAP was pretty far away, so you would have had to target those prior nodes, like I was talking about earlier. When you're building that uptrend, you're typically building up these nodes as you're pushing up. So on the way back down, you want to see those nodes get tested as support, like we see right here. You tested that node around 30, and then we had a node at 25 to 28. That got tested as well. Then we had even lower nodes at around 20 to 18, and those got tested as well. Okay, so on the way down, you want to check those nodes that you created on the way up, see if there's actually value there. Okay, and that was pretty much it. That's all the major trades that we had for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, everybody.